Hey guys and gals, this is Nathan. Welcome back to more coloring walkthroughs. Something. I'll figure out a name by the time I post this. Um, so yeah, I went ahead and finished all the bubbles off screen from the last episode. I know it was just taking way too long. I know nobody wants to sit around and do that. I mean, I did like the first two of these pages doing it, and it was just taking forever. Next up, what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and colorize the line art. Let's see. I'm not sure if we will have... Yeah, I think it might look better if we have the bubbles separate from the armor, which is going to take even longer. But it is what it is. Want it to look good, so I'm going to go ahead and do the bubbles first, and I'll show you why when we're done with that. Well, actually, I can show you why now. Let me get a nice hard round brush. And this is going to be colorizing the line art, and I know some of you people who haven't seen my videos might be wondering what the heck I'm doing. I'm telling you, I'm colorizing the line art. Just joking. But I am, in real life. I'll show you in a second. So I can just go ahead and color on this layer on top, but if I switch it to a clipping mask, that'll colorize the line art. So everything that's underneath this layer, the one on top of it will be clipped to, so that means just the line art. If you set your line art to multiply, it's not going to work the same way. And you'll just have what looks like this anyway. So you have to make sure you have your line art on a separate layer. And I have that covered in one of my early videos. I believe it's Tips and Tricks episode 2, maybe? It was a while back. So we can go in with our brush and color it, or, oops, let me put that on. Or just go ahead and lasso all your areas that you want, and then fill it. So I'll probably be doing a mixture of both of those here. And then we'll tweak the colors in a second. So I'm not 100% sure what color outline I want for these guys just yet. So it looks like it might be a little bit too light. Depending on how long this takes, I might just do one of these pages, because I think the other episodes are kind of going a little longer than I had wanted to. We'll see. You can't rush art. Well, I guess you can, just wouldn't look as nice. That is one thing I like about having deadlines, though, is that it'll force you to say when it looks good enough and it's time to move on. So a lot of times, like if I'm working on like a personal project, or doing a painting for myself, then I'll just work on it and work on it and work on it, and you need that deadline, or for somebody to be over your shoulder, an editor or something like that, and just, hey, look, let's do it this time, we need it, so hand it over. A lot of excitement. It's usually why I stick to the, I'll do the tutorials on pinups, because I can finish them a bit faster and they don't take as long as the sequential stuff does. But, you know, you can't, well, I guess you could, I mean, very rarely though, but I was going to say, I guess you can't make a career out of just doing covers as a colorist. But I mean, there are some who pull it off, but it's very difficult to be that go-to guy, you know, or gal. Don't want to leave anybody out. Let's go back up to here. I'm doing this little bit here based on the thickness of the other outlines. So you can see like around it, like in the middle of these guys. So I'm kind of guessing like where that black outline would be ordinarily. Let's stick with the lasso tool. It seems to be going a little bit faster. A lot of people ask where I learned a lot of my techniques as far as stuff like this, or you know, but it's all, I mean, some of it is watching other people work, but it's also like lighting and stuff like that from like photographers, watching movies. It's just big, you know, stuff that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with comic books. You know, it's just good art sense in general, I guess. You know, you could take something from some other genre and carry it over, you know, composition with colors and stuff like that from like a Renaissance painter, you know, something, you know, like farther from each other is like just crazy, but, you know, it's, you can totally learn from it, you know, reading books, watching tutorials on YouTube. I think the funnest way to learn is being in a studio, whether it be from when my time with Extreme Studios or, you know, working with the guys over at Antarctic Press, you know, just being in that studio and being around other people, and you get like those creative juices going, and you're looking at what they're working on or whatever. You know, it's always fun to do that. I mean, even if they're, you know, just same room as a penciler or inker, you know, walking over there and seeing what they're working on and getting you excited about working on stuff. You know, even here, in the studio, I mean, there's other people that use Photoshop, but I'm pretty much the only guy, you know, doing the coloring and stuff like that here in this office anyway. I have a couple other offices, you know, one in the LA area in Burbank, and then one in Manila. As you guys know, I had to travel there recently. But, you know, just being around other people that, even like editors and that type of stuff, you know, they might know something different about Photoshop that you never even thought of, like to use in that way or whatever. You know, it's always fun to check out. I mean, this is like color as a line art like this. I had never, when I was coloring comic books full time. I mean, we didn't even really use layers much, just because CPU power wasn't like it is now. So you couldn't really do like a whole lot of layers or anything. And then I don't even think there was like a clipping mask option at that time. So it's just working on. Sometimes we'll get files from advertising agencies. It's interesting to see how they'll put working on like, oh, here's a bottle of, I don't know, Windex or something like that, and seeing how their files are put together, and you're just like breaking it down. You're like, the heck are they doing? And at the time it doesn't really make sense. And then you take a little bit from that, and you try and incorporate it into your work, and just learning it in unexpected ways. And it's just doing the clipping mask for the line art like this is just one of the ways. And it's all about just experimenting. And that's like one of the things I find fun about like learning in Photoshop, especially. You just experimenting, mess around, you find something that works, and you like to use it. One of we had a freelancer in here helping me out with some color work, and that was like how I learned about like doing gradient maps. Give a little bit of punch to not only the highlights but the shadows as well at the same time. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. Let me try that. It's in some comic book pinups or pages and stuff like that. And it works really well. And again, it's just getting out there, talking with people, being in the same room as people, asking questions and stuff like that. It's all about learning. And I always said, if you ever stop learning, then you suck. I mean, there's really no other way to put it, because at that point, you stopped, then everybody else is just passing you up. It's like you gave up, and you're like, oh, I'm the best. I'm not going to get any better than this. In the meantime, everybody else is. So you gotta watch out for that. Always learn. Look at, what you can learn from. Even driving to work. I'll be looking at like clouds. How can I paint that? What brushes can I use, or what type of lighting setup would I use for those clouds, or in a city or whatever. Looking at leaves on trees, or trying to break down, oh, okay, the shadows go here, and like, oh, you know what, next time I have a tree, I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to try and incorporate that into my color work. So if you ever meet up with people like in your area, maybe at your local comic shop or whatever, if they have like a billboard or something like that, you can look into meeting people, and then just, I don't know, once a week, twice, whatever, once a month even, just meeting up with, other creative people, even if it's just talking about comics or whatever, techniques. At my old studio in LA, worked for the same company I work for now, but when we're out there, every Thursday night, a bunch of the guys from the office would go out, went to a little hole in the wall bar, and had drinks, and just passed the sketchbooks around. Everybody would take turns drawing in everybody else's sketchbook, and you'd be surprised at some of the stuff that would come out. And even funner, it'd be like somebody start a sketch, and then you pass it around, and then somebody else adds a little bit more to it, and it's always fun at the end of the night to get your sketchbook back and see who did what. It's just fun way to do things and learn from other artists. Kind of have that hive mind type of thing going. One person will learn something, they share it with everybody else, and everybody's better for it. It's kind of where I'm coming from with my videos. I mean, I'm not doing professional work much. I mean, I guess this would be, this will qualify me for pro passes at, for conventions and stuff like that. But it's not like a regular gig. I'm not really competing with anybody that's might take over, the job of coloring this book or anything like that. As I guess is what I'm trying to say. So me sharing my knowledge with you guys and gals and cats, dogs, whoever wants to listen to my videos, it's just fun for me to share with you guys and get some feedback. When I was doing like shortcut videos, I got plenty of messages and stuff, and like, oh well, if you do this, this, and this, then this happens. Like, whoa, I never thought about that. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing. And it really works out nice like that. All right, so I have this line art done here for the bubbles. Let me darken that up a little bit because I was saying I didn't like it too much. And let me darken it and then I'm lightening it. That makes sense, huh? I'm going to saturate it. So that looks pretty good. I like that. It looks like bubbles. So I put a layer in between, and that's the colorized line art and the actual line art. And that's going to make that automatically into a clipping mask as well. The reason I'm doing that is, like, if I did that on top, what that's going to do, let me just fill that with red. That's going to take everything and colorize it that layer. Colorize the line art like that. But if I put it in between, now I have like that. This yellow for the bubbles is going to be on top of that. So I don't have to be, as careful now. I just go in like real sloppy and make my selections. So it's kind of time saving. It takes time at first, getting the bubbles done and stuff like that. But now is where I get to save that time. And I'm just doing that red real quick just so I can see where it's at, and as opposed to the yellow. And I'll adjust the color in a second because that's on a separate layer. Oops. Fingers weren't typing or hitting the right buttons. Gotta cooperate. Alright, so I'll go ahead and pick this darker color and lock that layer so I can fill it. And then I'll darken that a tad. Maybe a little bit more. I think that looks pretty good. Let me see what it looks like. A little bit red, a little bit yellow, a little green. Yeah, I think I like that better. Yeah. So I'm going to take that and let's do that to these guys over here. Okay, and I'll add in one more. So I want to get this edge here as well. And I'll just add like this little lighter yellow color. Yeah, like that. So we'll do the same on this one. Yeah. Maybe a little bit lighter. I don't know, I have to come back on that one. Oh. I'll just leave it like that for now, and then I'll come back and visit it once I get all the other stuff done. But let's see if I can lighten that. Yeah, I like that better. All right, well, that took a while to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here. And then when we pick back up, I'll have all the colorizing of the bubbles and the suit done. And I guess we can start on some people. Yeah, we'll do that. Thanks a lot for watching. You can check out more of my color work on my DeviantArt page. It's lummage.deviantart.com. I have a Facebook fan page where you guys can post your questions and what have yous. It's facebook.com/lummage1. It's the number 1. I'll put the links to those in the description so you can check them out. Yeah, if you like what you see, subscribe, hit the like button, and thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, bye.